I am Jay Miller. I'm the Artistic Director of the Yard Theatre, also founder of the Yard Theatre. Together with a group of architects and artists, we wanted to create a safe space for artists to take risks. We wanted to create a space that felt, in its architecture, different from a lot of theatres in London. We were interested in the fusion of a classical architecture with a post-industrial context. Because it's an amphitheatre, it feels epic, I think, but also very, very intimate. It's a sort of beautiful, I think, human construction. We offer opportunities to artists in the early stages of their career. We seek to develop work with them that feels unapologetically contemporary. We tell stories that are perhaps hidden within the pavement cracks of society. We like to put a voice on stage that wouldn't otherwise, I think, be heard. Everything feels raw, everything feels incredibly live. The audience are often present with the performers, and it feels like we're creating an event, and that's what I think theatre should do. It should feel like it's happening at you. When we started the Yard, we partnered with a series of community centres, and we delivered workshops for the residents local to those community centres. We have taken what we learned from that programme and are using it to manage our own community centre now in Hackney Wick. We offer free classes or workshops or screenings of films to people in the local area. The way in which we can make the Yard tick is, yes, through our box office and through some funded income, but also because we run a very successful music programme. What the Yard has become over the last 2 years is a bit of a beacon for people to come together in an environment where they feel they can experience something new. So for me, that's why we do theatre and music. What happens is that we have the theatre, and then often we have music that happens in the bar after the show. It's a beautiful, I think, synergy of experiences whereby people can experience something, then talk about it over a drink, and then start dancing.
Where shall I sit?
What about the bed?
The show we've got on at the moment is Removal Men, which is about the officers who work in an immigration removal centre. And one of the officers falls in love with a detainee. And so these officers who work in an IRC, we think are trapped by a system of inherent power structures that they can't control, and ultimately also feelings that they can't control. It's a show that explores that confusion in the form of a musical. The show is also very, very funny. So it places the audience in a queasy place because they're laughing at officers, sometimes with officers, whose job it is to detain and sometimes forcibly remove people from this country. And so the response is predictably complicated, but in a way that I feel like the Yard can be. We don't pretend to please, and we don't seek to compliment. I think our role in culture should be to disrupt, should be to provoke, and should be to create something new.
Wrap it round your slender shoulders. Let my pressure touch your dreams. Go on holiday, have some tea, have some clotted creams.
I think the Yard is an outlier. I feel like we punch above our weight a lot. We're in East London. Our relationship to the city is one which means that we can look in on them. And I think that's a useful perspective to have. People who regularly go to the theatre, who expect a well-made play to sit in a safe environment are not necessarily going to enjoy coming here. Our work should be and is a shock to the system. I think the reason we are still here is because the work that we make, thankfully, the majority of people feel is important, and so our audiences are really dedicated.
Safer.